So for those who don't know me, my name is Cruz. I make around $50,000 a month right now. I travel the world 6+ times a year. This year I actually bought my dream car, my dream watch. And the point is, I make my money doing something very simple, but that's not the point of this video. I'm here to talk to you how I got to this point in my life at 20 years old. And as real as it is, I would be probably lying to your face if I told you that engineered stress didn't get me here. And this concept of engineered stress, if you adopt it in your life, I'm a true believer that you can make the world your oyster. And to somewhat put this into perspective, I want you to envision with me how many times you've been super down bad stressed. And as a result, you lose everything. Your life goes downhill. You lose your relationship with your girl or your guy. The money starts to decrease that you're making. You lose your friends. You lose your interpersonal relationships. You lose your own mind. You lose everything. And hate it or not, the raw reality is that the people that succumb to these type of problems and succumb to this type of hamster wheel, they end up staying poor, right? They stay poor. And what the poor do, the rich don't do. The rich do the complete opposite, in fact. And truly, coming from someone that was depressed because he was a victim to this problem over and over again, I can tell you that the rich use this type of stress to push up every single part of their life. Their money, their relationships, their friends, their significant, their value that they offer to the world. And it's the exact inverse from what the poor do. And to share my story that led me to understand this, a little over a year ago, I lost myself. What was currently happening to me was my sinuses were obstructed, which means every part of my sinuses were just filled. Okay, it was filled and I literally couldn't do anything. I would hang out with friends and I'd get migraines and headaches. Whenever I would look at bright light or cars that would drive towards me, I would literally get headaches. No amount of pain medication, Advil, Tylenol could fix it. And at this point in my life, I just remember feeling so bad. Every part of my life just felt miserable. I couldn't think, I couldn't study, I couldn't sleep. I was physically, mentally exhausted. And at this point, I lost everything that I had planned for or had provided beauty in my life. My friends, right? I lost a lot of them. I wasn't able to hang out with them. I wasn't even able to hold myself accountable to hold relationships. On top of that too, I couldn't even escape, right, my own bedroom, right, that I was literally just rotting in all day, right? I couldn't even drive. I couldn't do anything that everyone was doing, right? I would open up my stories and I'd see people doing what I had loved most at that moment. I liked doing things that every young Asian man likes to do in my generation. I liked going to raves, I liked getting wasted on weekends, I liked going out to parties and meeting girls. And at this time, I also had a very reasonable relationship with what my future would look like. Every single day, I would go into Notion and I would plan out what my career would look like. I would go into the office that I was currently interning at, and I thought life was sweet, right? Social, corporate, life was looking great, but all of that was cut off because my sinuses were obstructed and I was handicapped. And at this point in life, I remember feeling so stressed that I lost 10 pounds. I grew gray hairs, and most importantly, I lost my relationship with God. So everything had went downhill and I lost it all. So how the fuck did I use this to my advantage to be in current time projected to make $500,000 this year alone, and it'll only continue to go up? I did one thing, and I microdosed stress. Let me be upfront with you, you are not going to become a better person without realizing stress is inevitable in this life. Life isn't all low cortisol, but the people who engineer stress correctly, microdose stress, they will succeed, but the people that don't, they'll succumb to it. So what in the world is this so-called magical tool called microdose stress? And no, before you say it, it doesn't involve sniffing the good. It doesn't involve blasting peptides. It doesn't involve taking drugs. It's very simple. So if you've ever been to the gym or at least worked out your body, you've probably heard of the term progressive overload if you've taken the gym seriously. But if you haven't even been to the gym, lock in. But progressive overload refers to the concept of putting a gradual increase of stress on your muscles so that you never have a fitness plateau or you never end up going downhill, in other words, regressing your strength. And as a result, your body is able to adapt to this. It's able to do more reps and in general, take on more muscle strain and stress. Cool, Isaac, you've given me a great definition on progressive overload. In other words, microdose stress and how it can positively affect my body, but how does this really affect me hitting my goals behind the screen? Well, the way that this works is that every single day you have options, right? You can decide to drink a sugary drink. You can decide to goon. You can decide to take one day off. You can decide to put it off any important task, right? But on the inverse, you have the ability and the choice to do things that are uncomfortable to you, whether or not they help you get to a certain goal or they even benefit you. And a couple examples of this could be you going up an elevator and literally trying to shoot small talk with the person in the elevator, or you being in a parking lot when you see someone hop out of the Porsche GT3 RS that you like and actually talking to them, or you even going up to a girl in your lecture and trying to spit game, things that are just uncomfortable. And the reason why we do these things isn't for the results or even the experience itself. It's literally to give yourself unfamiliar situations that produce a little bit of stress, which in other words is microdose stress. And when you adopt this lifelong lifestyle, life becomes a video game. But instead of just a video game that you're constantly watching, it becomes a video game that you're playing and leveling up in. Because once you keep stacking these unfamiliar events on top of unfamiliar event, you're just looking for the next biggest unfamiliar event, and it becomes almost your physical nature. You literally are proving to yourself that you can do something. And the reason being why I've termed this micro-dose stress versus progressive stress is because you're doing enough small steps, micro steps, that lead you to be able to do macro steps, huge steps, right? You can't be that person that's like, I want to run that 6-figure company if you yourself have not been in the weeds of doing the itsy bitsy stuff, which is why I don't believe when people are like, okay, I'm just gonna start a 6-figure company this year. Well, what are the small micro steps that you're taking? What are you doing every day on a micro basis that lead you to believe that your tolerance is up here to achieve that big macro goal? Let me lay it out for you. You are not going to become a better person in this world without realizing that stress is inevitable. It's part of our everyday life, and things like social media have normalized stress to become a nasty thing that is bad, that is horrible, and everyone should live a low cortisol life. Flush that out of your mind right now, because that whole ideology is leading a whole generation to become a low income and middle class. So with that out of the way, you have two choices in this world, noting that stress is inevitable. You can either succumb to it and allow it to take control of your life and lead you to live a life that you are not fulfilled from, or you can use stress and engineer it to become a microdose stress, which if used correctly can improve every sector and every part of your life. And you can take me as an example who's living my dream life because I did it. Now for me personally, during the darkest spot of my life and when everything that I had worked for had went downhill, I focused on 3 forms of microdose stress, one being physical, the other being emotional, and the third one being spiritual. And again, these 3 were not to attain a specific result or attain an experience. It was literally just to do one thing and make sure that my tolerance was boosted and improve my tolerance to stress so that someday I would be more confident, more resilient, and a stronger person overall. When it came to my emotional form of microdose stress, every single day I woke up in my bed, no matter how shitty I felt, no matter how congested I felt, no matter how weak I felt, I made it my mission to try to make someone's day. It was literally as simple as giving everyone and anybody that I saw compliments. That was the thing that I did. I would walk up to people and say, hey, I like your outfit. Hey, I like the watch that you got on. Hey, you look amazing today. Physical was literally just walking my dog every single day around my neighborhood, no matter how fixated I was on my business or how fixated I was on improving my general body. And it's funny because these 30-minute walks would turn into 4-hour walks, literally just with my dog and I. And it was something that I would never do in a million years because I've always been someone that snap, A-type, get to it. And it was something that was uncomfortable to me. I felt like I was wasting time in the beginning, but it literally did not matter because I was doing something unfamiliar and it checked off that box. And for my spiritual form of microdose stress, I got out of my habits of not making prayer a routine part of my life. So every time I woke up, every single time I ate, every single time I slept, and even the times where I felt like everything was working perfectly for me, I made sure that that was my center of my life. Now for me, this was so hard to commit to because previous to this time in my life, I had only prayed when times were bad and when I needed something specifically, not for the purpose of building my relationship with God. And it's crazy to think how just 3 small forms of microdose stress during the darkest part of my life genuinely changed it for what I could never have imagined. And it completely blows my mind when I look back at the darkest point of my life and how I committed to just 3 forms of microdose stress, and my life genuinely changed to what I'm now living. $50,000 months, I get to travel 6+ times a year, I can support people that I love, and my life will continue to get better, and so as yours if you just adopt forms of microdose stress. So now that you have the formula to creating the life that you truly know you deserve, you have a question to ask yourself, because everything leading up to this moment of your life, whether you're happy or whether you're not, is directly a result of everything that you've done in the past and the lack of microdose stress that you've given yourself. And you can decide to either be part of the lower class who will continue to pass on the lack of microdose stress through their generation, or be the one that breaks the cycle, be the black sheep that microdoses stress on a daily level. If you have any questions, want me to hold you accountable, or you just want to change your life, feel free to DM me on Instagram. Peace out, guys.